Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's Why Use One L or F in a Name When You Could Use Two or More. We've got a special setting for a special book today. This is the first fantasy series I ever read in my life, and it is the Chronicles of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander. These are 6 children's fantasy books written in the late 1960s, and they're based on Welsh mythology. Now, I'm just reviewing the first 5 books in this compilation: the Book of Three, the Black Cauldron, the Castle of Llyr, Taran Wanderer, and the High King. So the books focus on Taran, a teenage boy of unknown parents, and he lives in the village of Caerdal Ben with his adopted family, the Enchanter Ben, and Cole, the retired warrior. Now, Taran's job is to be assistant pig keeper because he cares for the oracular pig Henwen. Henwen is able to tell the future using rune sticks with different symbols on them, and whatever she points to with her snout is a message that can be interpreted by Dal Ben. Now, as most fantasy series have, there's a big bad in this one, and that is Aran Deathlord, a necromancer sorcerer in the evil kingdom around Mount Dragon, who wants to conquer all of Prydain, as you do. So Taran meets a lot of interesting companions as he goes on adventures to stop Aran Deathlord, to discover his identity, and to transition from being a boy to a man, and from going from being naive to being a wise, responsible person. A standout in the series are all the characters in the stories. There's the bard Fluter Flam, who rides a giant cat, and every time he tells a lie, one of his harpstrings breaks. There is Dolly, a grumpy fairy dwarf who can turn invisible. Gwydion, a nobleman and swordmaster. 3 witches that can shape destiny and change identity. Gurgi the Beast Man, and my personal favorite, Eilonwy, a princess sorceress with an enchanted golden bauble that emits light. So, when I was a kid, I loved these stories. Fantasy was brand new to me because this was the first series I ever read. And when I picked this up, 30 years later since last reading it, I still remembered some of the scenes. Like when Eilonwy rescues Taran from prison by peeking down through the prison grates at him, when they set a frozen river on fire, and Taran's showdown with a banded bully in the mountains, and also Taran's final battle with Aran Deathlord using a flaming black magical sword. So yeah, 30 years later, how do these stories hold up? Pretty well. The characters, adventure scenarios, and tough life lessons Taran learns as he grows and matures are still profound and touching, even today. The setting is haunting and beautiful, and the whole work has this thread of compassionate humanity woven into it. As a kid, I found this series magical and flawless, but as an adult, you have a wider perspective, you look at details a little bit more. I did notice some cracks. This book is definitely for kids in the 10 to 15 year old range, and some of the things I noticed as an adult were every time the characters get into a tough situation, the right magical item happens to show up, or one of their buddies just happens to come along and save them. Like, for example, Taran is fighting a bunch of undead, and he's backed into this area with a bunch of boulders. He knocks over a boulder, and what do you know? There just happened to be the magical sword under that boulder. Like, really? That's where they hit it? He just happened to find that one spot? So that kind of thing happens again and again throughout the book. There's a lot of Deus Ex Machina rescues in it. I'd also say that the books are a bit uneven in quality, from best to worst. I rank the books the Black Cauldron, the High King, Taran Wanderer, the Book of Three, and at the bottom the Castle of Llyr. And the main reason for this is some of the more interesting characters like Eilonwy are missing from some of the books. Like, she's barely in Book 3, and she's not in Book 4 at all, which made it less interesting because I really liked her because of her strong-willed, outspoken personality. And some of the books, like the first book, the Book of Three, focuses on these characters that are just nothing burgers, like the Horned King. The showdown with the Horned King was like such a letdown, and I think that's why that book suffered a bit for it. Now, I'm also going to talk about the ending here because as a kid, I either didn't understand the ending or I must have blocked it from my memory. So while I've got my finger on my nose here, I'm going to spoil the ending for you and tell you what I didn't quite care for. So basically, Gwydion and the other rulers of Prydain, the Sons of Dawn, they've done a bad job of ruling Prydain. They let a Ron Deathlord rise to power. They lost all their magic knowledge. Their best farmland is scorched earth, their castles are in ruins, and the countryside is divided into feuding petty lords and bandits. So at the end of the books, they defeat a Ron Deathlord. So you think, okay, great. We beat the big bad guy. Now we can rebuild the kingdom. But they go, actually, the Sons of Dawn and all the rulers of Prydain are from this magical kingdom called the Golden Country, or the Summer Country, that we've never mentioned in the book series before. And we're not going to stick around to fix the mess we've made or fix the land. We're all heading out to this magical paradise. Good luck with fixing the land. See ya. And the only one with enough decency and sense of duty to stay behind and fix things is Taran. And so while all of the previous rulers just ride out to this magical sunshine country, they leave Taran behind to pick up the pieces. They make him king, but wow, thanks guys. Alonway at least stays behind with him, but really, what a jerk move. It was basically like, who's going to pick up this mess? Nose goes. Sometimes books do that, a book series is going along just fine, and then at the end it just kind of crashes. And unfortunately, the last couple of chapters of this book series do not have a good ending. Okay, so that was how it ended. I didn't quite care for it. Overall, though, this series still holds up. This was a magical, wholesome, nostalgic read for me. I give it 5 stars and recommend it, but do understand that recommendation comes with the caveat that this is definitely a children's book, and if you're an adult reading this, your mileage may vary. But, this was a fun, nostalgic revisit to a beloved series for me, and I had a good time with it. And at some point, I'll read the last story in it, which is like a collection of short stories set in Prydain, but, this was a big tome. I needed to take a break from it after reading the first 5 stories. So there you go. Chronicles of Prydain. Thanks for joining me out here in this wintry countryside. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well.